Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's reading. Of course, you know me as Stan the Shadow Seeker, and we will be doing a reading this week. It's going to be a general reading, but I do feel guided to do it in a particular way. So, the way we're going to start off this reading, we are going to look at what no longer serves us. That's going to be our opening card. And we will take the energy that comes out and progress from there. So, as I shuffle the traditional tarot, let's see what energy that we need to release moving on in this present moment. Now, before we reveal what this card is, I just want to let everyone know only feel guided to take these messages if they truly connect with you on an intuitive level. Leave what does not resonate for you for someone else that needs to hear it. Okay, and the first card that comes out to begin this reading is the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse position. So immediately I'm feeling that for many people in the collective, and please keep in mind that I channel a very specific collective every week. Usually the videos are available on Wednesdays. And what I'm feeling is that many people in the collective may be feeling really burned out right now, or they may be feeling really disillusioned when it comes to putting in efforts that aren't yielding a certain reward or a certain ending, not really an ending, but a certain outcome for what they have hoped for. So they may be self criticizing themselves right now, feeling like what it really feels like is many people in the collective feel sort of like a perfectionist. And a lot of that is really kind of like, falling away, or this is what we should be drifting away from, rather. So I'm feeling a shadow side. So it really feels like the spirit is really kind of warning you right now of really, keeping yourself entangled in busy work or repeating an old mistake because you're too focused on control rather than growth. So I feel like that's really specific for maybe a small number in the collective. And keep in mind, this is a fairly small collective that I do channel into. So this may only resonate for one or two of you. I had to pause for a moment because I'm really feeling multiple threads of energy where it really does feel like many people are really overexerting themselves right now. So I really feel like someone's effort is really going into something that feels really rigid. And it really feels as if they're just putting too much time, effort, and energy into something that really feels really futile, or maybe that's being perceived in that way. And I feel like that might be a very specific message. I don't feel like that's going to connect with everybody, but if this is connecting for you, then this is really spirit really saying to kind of take, a moment for yourself to step back, to reevaluate where your energy is flowing right now. So I feel like that's really specific. So we're not going to stay too long on that particular thread of energy. I do feel guided to continue. So with the next card that we are going to be drawing in this reading, this card is going to be talking about what is worth holding on to, even after you let go of the opening card's energy. So what do you need to hold on to right now? Okay, and so the card that comes out is the Nine of Pentacles in the reverse position. So this is actually really interesting. I feel like it has a layered energy thread here because I really feel like it's really interesting that this comes out in the reverse position. I'm really sensing that in this particular position for this particular reading for the collective, message really is talking about needing to be independent, needing to really value your self-worth and really value the stability that you normally hold from within by yourself. But see, right now, many of you in the collective are really clinging to something that's really fragile, something that's not really meant for you, you know? And a lot of it is really coming to me as a sense of an issue with self worth or self sufficiency and confidence. And it's like many of you are sensing, I'm sorry, not sensing, but feeling a sense of feeling clouded by doubt, reliance on others, and really not feeling worthy or good enough when it comes to something. I really feel like this is connected to your 3D because this is really strong earth sign energy. We've only drawn two cards, but this is definitely prominent earth sign energy here. And so it really just feels that many people right now are feeling really shaky when it does come to their self worth and really fragile at the moment. And they're really relying on external validation instead of really embracing their own accomplishments. So, this actually is what Spirit is not wanting you to cling to. But right now, you are clinging to that in the present moment. And it really feels like I should be reading this in the upright position, or rather, that's what Spirit is wanting you to really hold on to, not necessarily holding on to this shadow element energy that I'm picking up on right here. But I really feel like this is actually coming because of what it is that needs to be released. So it's almost like you're transitioning or have already transitioned into this, sense of not really feeling worthy. And I feel like I'm really reaching someone in the collective that really knows what I'm talking about, even though I feel like many of you may be a little confused by how these messages are being verbalized. But I know it's connecting to you on a deeper level. It's just that, it may not seem really clear to you at the present moment of what we're really talking about. But I just get this strong sense that something has transpired recently for you, and it really has shaken up what's going on in your 3D right now. That's really making you question yourself on so many different levels right now. But whatever your 3D is looking like right now, you definitely are on the correct path. And this is just something that you have to integrate, something that you have to work through because it is temporary. It's not something that is going to be lasting forever and ever. This is something that you're going to be able to work through because there's something that I'm sensing is on the horizon, or you just haven't quite gotten there yet, but it is coming. I'm not really sure why that is coming out the way that it's coming out. Normally, these messages don't come out the way that I'm actually verbalizing them, but I just really have this gut intuitive feeling that this is what Spirit wants you to hear. So I know that I really feel like I'm channeling or really kind of being hyper focused on maybe, specific individuals that really need to hear this within the collective. So I'm not really sure if this is going to really be broadcast to everyone, meaning I'm not really sure if it's really going to connect and really sit with everyone. But I do feel like for many of you, you are going to really be like, the shadow seeker really is connecting with me on such a profound level. So I really feel like for these specific individuals, that it is going to connect on such a profound, deep level because maybe previous readings haven't quite done that, but I feel like this one actually is. So I feel guided to continue. And we will be drawing some oracle cards too, just for extra clarity, extra messages as well. But so far, I feel like just staying with the tarot is the best thing to do in this particular reading. So moving forward, I want to see what Spirit is really igniting in us right now after this thing that we're clinging into, after this particular ending of what no longer serves us. So let's shuffle and see what it is that Spirit is bringing forth to us, what Spirit is igniting within us. Oh, okay. Okay. So two messages. I'm sorry, not two messages. Two cards come out. Okay, what do we have here? Because one of them fell on the floor. We have the Knight of Pentacles in the upright position. And so, once again, strong earth sign energy. I feel like for the people in the collective that are earth signs, this is really going to resonate heavily for you. So, that's going to be Virgo, that's going to be Taurus, that's going to be, I believe, Capricorn. And we have the High Priestess. Wow. So, our first major arcana card in this particular reading, this is reversed. So, okay, the Knight of Pentacles, that is a very slow moving energy. So, Spirit is really bringing in something that is going to look really grounded, and it's going to look like persistence and steady progress within something in your 3D realm. And Spirit is really trying to get you to really pace yourself instead of rushing or overworking with something. So a lot of that previous energy that we talked about being burnout, being overworked, this is Spirit actually bringing something in that's going to actually slow you down and actually get you to really reevaluate where you're going. So this could be actual physical signs of something coming in that is going to help you really, kind of go with this slow and steady kind of sustainable pace instead of rushing into something. And that's really going to help you, I don't know if I want to say relearn or reprioritize things, but I feel guided to say that. So that mastery energy, that the Eight of Pentacles really represents here, you're going to be, reevaluating a lot of that energy and just reformulating the way that you normally do things is what it feels like. But okay, we have this warning here, is what it feels like with the High Priestess, where it really feels like you might be risking ignoring your inner voice or doubting your intuition or letting in some sort of distraction on a higher level. So, Spirit, even though Spirit is bringing forth, this steadiness, this groundedness, it's almost like there's a lesson behind it where Spirit is wanting you to really trust your inner wisdom, even if it feels really clouded or confusing or you're not getting a lot of clarity from your highest self. You're not meant to lose clarity right now during this transformational period or this rebirth, is what it kind of feels like. You are really meant to progress with inner truth. That way, you can clear a lot of this false information that may be clouding your judgment right now. Not really sure why that came out the way that came out, but there's something that feels not really manipulating, but it just feels like there's something that just isn't quite sitting right with you. And it really feels like, in order for steady movement to really come in order for intuitive alignment to really come in, you have to take a moment to really look from within and really trust and reconnect with your highest self, is what this feels like. You really have to learn to embody patience and dedication and just this deep trust in your intuition. Release the need to control things. That's what it really feels like right now with this particular type of energy. This is really interesting energy. I feel like this is really an interesting reading altogether because I don't really do it typically like this. So it just really seems to connect in a really interesting way. So we're going to keep progressing here. As I'm shuffling, I'm asking Spirit, let's see how we can rise above this warning, this heaviness that I'm feeling right now that's coming in. Okay, again with a slew of cards. So that's always like a theme in these readings where a slew of cards comes out as we're shuffling at particular points. And so we have here, we have four cards. So the first one is the Seven of Cups in the upright position. So I feel like that's a direct message because the Seven of Cups is, in this particular reading, it's talking about illusions and it's talking about discerning among these illusions and possibilities. to really realize that not every choice that we make is a clear conscious choice. Some of it is really distractions. So this is about using your discernment when it comes to certain distractions. And so I really feel like spirit is really saying, especially in this position, that there may be a lot of distracting elements. And I really feel like it's really tied to your heart space, your heart chakra at the moment with how you move. But it's like spirit is really trusting you to make the right decision on how you move forward with this particular heaviness. But okay, here we have the Two of Cups in the upright position. So that's really interesting. And wow, it really feels like I really feel like there's a different thread of energy coming up where it feels like for some people in the collective, this is talking about choosing relationships that empower and not entangle, rising above something that feels really authentic, where there's a lot of mutual recognition and not codependency or a sacred reflection within something else. It's really interesting how that comes out like that. But I feel like that's for a small number. Okay, so the next card, okay, we have the Three of Cups in the reverse position, and right underneath that is the Wheel of Fortune reversed. Wow, so that's interesting. So the Three of Cups reverse is definitely like a warning from spirit. That's what that feels like, where it really feels like not all friendships are uplifting, not all connections are supportive, that they might actually distract or drain. So it's like a warning not to really indulge in those types of particular connections, especially at this present moment, is what it feels like, because there's so much that needs to be released, is what it feels like in your physical world. So that may make you feel really, disconnected or lonely at the present moment. And so spirit is really not wanting you to really connect with what it really feels like lower vibrational scenarios, to try to compensate for that loneliness. Because a lot of it really just feels really shallow. A lot of what you might, connect with. So it's really you stepping away from, this is like a warning for you to step away from what actually would drain you in a social circle. But with this Wheel of Fortune, if you're resistant to change right now, resistant to what spirit is trying to bring in, then this is really talking about cycles repeating itself, especially what feels like karmic cycles. And that's going to look very specific for many of you in the collective, because not everybody in the collective really deals with a lot of karmic energy, so to speak, but there are many people in the collective that do, that we have channeled about in the past. So this could be karmic relationships, but this could also be karmic patterns as well, lower vibrational patterns. And so spirit is wanting you to rise above, these particular type of energy dynamics and really actually surrender. But it's more like not surrendering to control destiny, but it's more like surrendering with like divine timing, surrendering and just trusting the process, trusting that you will get to where you want to go in your 3D. So just drawing on a few oracle cards to clarify this energy here. Okay, we have the Two-Faced card. I don't believe I've seen this in any of the collective readings we've done for the channel, but it says double life, cheater, backstabber. And then we have the Vacay card, which says get away, relax, have fun. We also have the Shattered card that says broken nightmares, and it says failures. So, oh, sorry. Hope no one heard that, but something had just dropped in the background. But okay, so for the Two-Faced card, I'm really sensing here that spirit is going to be bringing in a lot of signs or synchronicities or just little messages that you may only recognize for yourself that is going to remind you that a lot of people are not really having your best interest right now. So it's really you using your discernment. And this really connects with that Three of Cups energy, where there may be a lot of false friends, a lot of toxic people in your life, or people that are presenting one mask, but they're really hiding another, that are in your energetic field right now. And Spirit is really asking you to use your discernment for in order for you to continue, this expansion, this particular growth or integration or rebirth, whatever it looks like for you. With this vacay card, it really feels like it just really feels to me that when you step back and you rest, that you're really going to realign yourself. So really this is you like taking back your power, but it's like you surrendering is what it feels like. You really just trusting the process and leaning more into something that feels right, that feels more aligned, that feels like a union of sorts. So I really feel like this connects with the Two of Cups energy that we talked about, but it's also you using your discernment. So I really feel like this really connects with the Seven of Cups because it's like you making the right choices that actually benefit you, not making choices that don't, or aligning yourself with something that's false or just not good for you. And then with that Shattered card, this really feels about like an energy of disappointment or feeling like destiny has failed you in a sense. But I feel like that's only for certain people in the collective. So this is like energy that needs to be transmuted, is what it feels like, so that you're not repeating patterns. So I really feel like this really connects with the Wheel of Fortune. So this is that karmic energy that, I'm really sensing right here. I know I'm taking a lot of pauses, but there's so many different threads of energy that are really coming at me all at once. So this is really interesting energies here. But we are going to continue with this reading. We're going to continue on. So as I'm shuffling here, I feel guided to, okay, let's see what opportunities are actually opening up. So after all this energy here that we're talking about, rising above, that we're talking about releasing, that, we're talking about what Spirit is bringing or really kind of igniting, but let's just see exactly what specific opportunity or opportunities are actually coming up, okay? And then after that, we're going to check and see about challenges. And then we're just going to see what the potential outcome is. But I'm still shuffling, so let's just see what opportunities are arising after this energy. Okay, and we have the Ten of Cups in the reverse position. So that's actually really interesting to see this in this particular position here. I am sensing that many people in the collective are clinging to an unrealistic expectation of what emotional fulfillment and stability actually looks like. So there may be a lot of you that have this fantasy of what happily ever after is looking like, or what building something with somebody looks like. So it's really this illusion type of energy, illusion about happiness type of energy that is really coming up right here. And it's really interesting because this is a card about opportunity. So I'm not saying that this is a card about opportunity, excuse me, that this position represents what opportunity is coming. So really it's more like a lesson that is coming for you, that Spirit is orchestrating here. And I feel like this is only for a select group of people. So it's really interesting how this reading is, because I feel like it's almost fragmented in a way, because I feel like certain messages are really only going to connect with certain people in the collective. So I really feel like we're really touching base with everyone in the collective. And again, if you aren't part of the collective that I do channel into every week, which is really a small group of people, I do recommend that you like or comment on this particular video or previous videos. That will help me pick up on your energy, and you'll be able to help co-create the messages that come forward. But Yes, I feel like we really have been touching on every specific individual in the collective because I feel like this is not for everybody. I really feel that with this is about someone that has been so disillusioned when it comes to love or the way that someone may treat you and the potential of something. And so this is like your opportunity that Spirit is orchestrating to kind of like open your eyes and really see that you're not truly aligned with what happiness may look like for you. And it's really, again, for you to really look in, look inside yourself and really work on that shaky self worth that we talked about because something just is misaligned when it comes to your heart chakra, is what it feels like, your emotions, your feelings. And this is about you releasing that, is what it feels like from spirit. So it's really, really interesting that that's here. Now, for challenges, though, okay, we have two cards came out. We have the King of. I'm sorry, this is not the King. This is actually the Emperor. So another major arcana card, the Emperor reversed, and we have the Two of Pentacles reversed. It's really interesting because I was about to say the King of Swords, but I had to look closely. And yes, this is the Emperor. So it's really interesting. So immediately I'm picking up on like a divine masculine type of energy or archetype. So there may be a divine masculine type of energy that is really misusing their power or some sort of authority figure. I'm sensing something that is really self sabotaging in a way because it's like you putting so much energy or time into this particular person and they're really domineering and they're really manipulative, but it's something that you're not going to really pick up on right away. This is something that is so unstable or so chaotic that it's almost like they have this alluring charm about them in a sense where you just feel so like caught up in the moment with this particular divine masculine that you don't really see that they're kind of leading you to self sabotage or really kind of, not entangling, but it's like they're kind of like, and it's not festering, but it's more like they keep feeding into something negative that they're bringing out of you. And it's some sort of like power imbalance that I'm sensing. And so this is really causing you with the Two of Pentacles to really kind of juggle a lot right now. Like you're really dropping a lot of priorities and you're really being pulled in many different directions. And it's really creating chaos for you right now. And a lot of like overwhelm and like disorganization is what it feels like. And you're not really prioritizing what truly matters for you right now. You're really shifting your focus on this divine masculine that is really controlling a lot of forces outside of themselves and what is what it feels like. They're really bringing a lot of unstable energy into your field and it's really scattering you at the present moment. So again, it really feels like spirit is wanting you to use discernment with this particular divine masculine. Now, this might connect with many people in the collective because many people in the collective do have a divine masculine that they do deal with in many different aspects, whether that's romantic or platonic or something to do with friends or, family. But for many of you, it's going to be romantic. And this really just feels like a really strong energy. So this divine masculine does have a strong hold or presence over you. It's kind of interesting how a lot of that did not really come out earlier in the reading and how it came out towards the end. But for our final card, we have the Page of Swords in the upright position. So there is some sort of clarity that is going to come through, but see, I don't know why it feels off. It really does. And it might have something to do with this page energy. The reason why I say that, because this feels like some sort of like student energy is what I'm talking about, because this is talking about learning or seeking knowledge. So it really feels like you're going to be starting really fresh. And I feel like this is only going to connect with a few other people not everyone in the collective, but someone is going to really go through some sort of rebirth and come through on the end where they're going to be really curious about a lot of things. They're going to have a lot of willingness to grow again. So it's like you really starting, it's almost like looking at or playing a video game, right? And there's like so many different levels to that game. And you reach all the way to like level 100 or whatever. But then for some reason, it's like you want to just kind of start over and start fresh. Not with that same type of knowledge is what I'm talking about from what you've already obtained or went through, but it's like you literally just like starting completely fresh and completely over. So it's like a completely new clean slate for you, but it's like the type of clean slate where it's like you just let everything go and you just start fresh. And then it's like somehow that brings like in so much like new profound clarity because you just started over. You just started completely fresh and new. So that's really interesting here. It really is. But okay, I know we've went over the 30-minute mark, but we are going to conclude the reading. We're going to draw a single oracle card here, and this is going to sum up the reading and conclude the reading. So I do want to thank everyone that has stayed all the way through the video. If a lot of these messages do seem a little, like I said, fragmented, I do feel like this is one of those rare readings for the collective where I do feel like we've touched on a lot of the different people in the collective. So I really feel like there is something in this particular reading that is definitely for everybody. And so the card that is going to conclude the reading here is, okay, it's the self-love card, and it says, "You are worthy and deserving of all the abundance in the universe. Treat yourself with the love and respect you desire, and others will follow suit." So I feel like that's a really perfect way to end the reading. I do feel like that is definitely for everyone in the reading. So thank you again for extending your beautiful high vibrational energy to the reading, co-creating the messages. And again, if you are not part of the collective, but you wish to join, or you wish to extend your beautiful energy to the collective, I definitely recommend liking and or subscribing. That's definitely going to help me pinpoint on your energy and get a hold of it a lot easier. And you will definitely help co-create the messages that come through. And I am sending you lots of love, light, and happiness. And I do hope you have a wonderful remainder of your day. And I will see you in the next reading.